Good evening, I'm Camden Cohn, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the experienced advisors at Stonebridge Wealth Systems. Earlier today, Nebraska softball associate head coach and pitching coach Lori Sipple announced her retirement. Sipple played 4 seasons at Nebraska from 1985 to 1988 before serving on the coaching staff for 37 seasons, beginning in 1990. In her 41 total seasons with the program as both a player and coach, she helped the Huskers to 1,449 wins, 18 conference titles, 26 NCAA tournament appearances, and 6 trips to the Women's College World Series. More information on Sipple can be found on Huskers.com. In other Husker news, Dylan Carey is one of 5 finalists for the Brooks Wallace Award. That award honors the nation's top shortstop. It's just the second time that a Husker has been named a finalist. The winner will be announced on June 13th. And finally, Game 1 of the Stanley Cup begins tonight as the Carolina Hurricanes host the Vegas Golden Knights. The puck drops at 7 tonight, and it can be watched on ABC. Our sports ticker is brought to you by Stonebridge Wealth Systems, navigating you to and through the retirement of your dreams. Local advisors, a disciplined process, the retirement compass. Visit stonebridgeiwm.com. Hour 1 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
The payoff pitch ripped into left field, down for a single. He's going to be waved home. The throw is in time. Oh, what a seed by Jet Buck. Big time defensive play for the senior transfer.
2 balls, 2 strikes on DC. Pitch. Swing and a drive to deep left field. Taylor back to the track, to the wall. It is gone. Dylan Carey to the rescue.
Arkansas 3-2, bottom of the 8th, 1 out. Batter is Hannah Core in the first pitch. Core swings and drives this one to center and deep, and it is gone! It's gone! And this game is tied at 3! Infield to the right as well. Heron to the line, her 1-ball pitch. Ava swings and drives this one to center. Johnson going back! It's gone! It's gone! Huskers win! Huskers win! Huskers win! Huskers win! 5-3 on the Kuzak 2-run home run!
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Kyle Crooks, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Welcome into another full 2 hours of Sports Nightly. I guess not quite fully into the dead of summer, right, Kyle? We still have a little bit going on, lots to talk about, but when would you consider the dead of summer, like where there's just, what are we going to talk about today?
I consider that around the MLB All-Star break. So I would say that's probably like July 10th-ish is the dog days of summer. You have from July 4th probably, Jess, up until the start of football, so fall camp. I'd say that's your dog days of summer, as I like to say. That's the phrase I like to use. So we're not quite there yet because you have to crown championships, right, in college softball and college baseball, and he's still pretty close, of course, to the proximity of both seasons. You still have track going on here with the Huskers. So I would say probably middle of July. I think we're both planning on taking our vacations around that time. So I think we plan around the dog days of summer.
Yeah, and if you're watching on our YouTube stream, I am still in my mom's study. So I
still don't know what a study is.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's just a decent place for me to be set up right now. But I'm still in Oklahoma because I'm teaching some swim lessons. I think for our OG listeners, they probably know because I do this every year. So my mom and I started this a long time ago, and she keeps roping me into it. So I keep coming down here and teaching some kids how to swim. Kyle, do you know how to swim?
I do. I'm actually pretty elite. So my mom...
what are you not elite at?
By the way, we'll get to the Hello Kitty Yankees thing on my shoulder. This is kind of like something I'm sure the YouTube audience is staring at since we've come on the air. But I took a lot of swim lessons growing up at this local lake, which was quite literally, you could see it from my house right down the street. It's called PV Park. and the water wasn't the best, right, in terms of cleanliness. But I would swim every single day in summer. Wasn't a huge fan of doing it, but I said, you know what, stay active. My mom wanted to keep me active. So I'm somebody who spent my entire childhood doing the backstroke. What is it, the butterfly? Is that a big movement?
It is.
What are some of the ones
we
in
don't
freestyle?
really teach that as the freestyle. We don't really teach that as much anymore. The butterfly. It's mainly, I think the parents that we have just want their kids to be able to jump in the deep end and not have to worry. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
I hear you.
that's kind of more. We used to do that, the official stuff that you have to get, Red Cross certified, but now it's more so they're about survival and being able to get across the pool.
So you had to be certified to do this, correct? To be an official?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we did when we were first starting it, but now it's like we've done it for so long. We just keep up the CPR, and being able to rescue if we need to. But in terms of just like being certified for swim lessons, no one really cares about that in terms of like who we teach down here. So
I wonder if everybody on our Husker Radio Network team is a good swimmer. I wonder if there's somebody that maybe needs just swim lessons on our team. You think can Damon swim? We got to ask him.
Apparently Camden's got all these things planned. Maybe we should do like a tutorial.
So if you hear Camden, these last few days, he's presented these summer ideas that are pretty outlandish. They're fun, they're interesting, they're creative. But the execution is one thing that we have to be able to do.
Is the issue?
Yeah, he wants us doing 3-point contests, this, that, and the other. So I think Camden's going to take over the creative of this show over the summer.
We'll see if he can get it executed. If he can get it executed, I'm in. I'm in to do fun things.
Hello Kitty.
Kyle's
on
the
my
one
shoulder.
that you have to convince.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm good. I'll watch. I can call it. So I have the Hello Kitty sticker. Today was the Playfly Heidi Kuka, who's awesome. Today is her birthday, by the way. Happy birthday to Heidi. So the awkward part is she was throwing a birthday party for me, which was a little bit belated because my birthday was on the 29th. But it was her birthday.
Sweets.
No sweets. So as people came in, I would say, can I interest you in some cantaloupe? It was a very interesting birthday party because it was trail mix. It was 17 different types of rice cakes from Whole Foods.
You like rice cakes? I guess I didn't know that.
Oh, fantastic. There's these they're birthday cake, rice cake bites. And so the one thing is you wouldn't know about the whole sticker things and the end because you weren't there. You decided to leave and you weren't at my birthday party. So kind of was what it was, but it was fun. Thank you to Heidi. Happy birthday to Heidi. Jason was there, our boss. The entire crew over there, it's sales crew, service crew was there. And
they're big on birthday parties and birthdays.
Huge, big.
And half the time the radio crew can't make their own birthday parties over there, but
no.
we appreciate the efforts.
We do.
Good thing yours is during a time. Unfortunately, you could make yours this year, but hopefully you're not around to make yours in the upcoming years.
I hope so. I hope we're getting ready for maybe playing a regional or super regional. Who knows? But I appreciate everybody over there.
All right. Before we get too far away from the congratulations and so the celebrations, I do want to make sure that we send a huge congratulations to Matt Coatney, who is officially a grandpa, and they welcomed in Oliver Matthew, so his first grandson, and the family is doing great. He sent me a photo of him holding him, and you can tell he is just happy as can be. And you want to talk about someone who's going to be a great granddad. That is Matt Coatney.
Yeah, he's not a great granddad, but he's a great granddad.
No.
Currently. Yes, I get what you're saying. Yes, he's not. Yeah. His kids of his kids don't have kids, but
he's going to be a fantastic granddad.
No, he is, and he retired obviously from his 9-to-5 job. He's still doing women's basketball and football here, but a big part of him retiring from the 9-to-5 was a chance to be around his family, a chance to be around his grandkids. So I did see that on Twitter. Fired up for Matt. I know he is. He's eager to get back to calling games, and I know he already had the countdown, Jess, for a Big Red Reaction last week, like 2,000 whatever hours or whatever to the start of the first Big Red Reaction. But happy for Matt and his family.
Okay, and keeping the congratulations going as we saw yesterday, and it really took I think I was going to say the college softball world by storm, but it took Husker Nation by storm. It took social media by storm. But Jordy Fromm and Trey Fromm announcing that they are expecting, they posted on their social media. And I know a lot of people just, really, really impressed that she basically pitched and took on a college World Series, a women's college World Series, while essentially 3 months pregnant. But congratulations. So happy for her. Kyle and I had a chance to chat with Coach Ravel earlier in the season and just talking about Jordy and what might be next. And, Jordy, she's excited about this next chapter about her life and or that's coming up next in her life. And, this has been a long kind of process with her playing career, a lot of eyeballs on her. I told you yesterday, talked about the cameras that were in her face here in Oklahoma City, but you can tell she's really, really excited about kind of moving forward and what's next for her. And I know that they are very, very excited. But you want to talk about impressive. I saw a lot of fun tweets about, it should have been 2 runs when she hit the home run. Mm-hmm. And then also, just how incredible women are that she could pull off that feat. And, it's just amazing what things can be accomplished. But so happy for her and Trey. I know that they are really, really excited to kind of start that chapter of their lives.
Yeah, that's a couple of months of elite softball while being pregnant. You think of, what was it, Serena Williams, who won a major tennis tournament while pregnant. You think of some of the great stories in women's athletics, and this is certainly one of them. Hitting a home run in the World Series, as elite as she was inside the circle, you can imagine there's other things that go into that in terms of, physically the things that you go through when you're 3 months pregnant and the pressure that comes with playing in a World Series game, having a team on your back, essentially the whole weight of a state on your shoulders. That's just incredibly impressive stuff. And once more, it adds to the legacy and the legend of what Jordy Fromm is to this place and this state. And hopefully she sticks around this program after she's done playing.
I'm not even going to acknowledge, and I didn't really see much hate. I think that some people that I saw maybe posted about, I didn't see any, but which thankfully I didn't. But, a lot of, I think, former players, people that are pretty big in the college softball game, I was certainly impressed. But most people found it even more impressive. We talked yesterday about how one of the best players to ever play the game, and especially two-way players, how good she was at every single phase of the game. But then to also add that element of being pregnant, it's just so it's beyond impressive. And, I think for most people that were in the game found it even more remarkable and were fell even more in love with Jordy and what she was able to do this season because of it.
Yeah. So congratulations to them. I mean, it's pretty shocking when that post came out, and to the performance to be what it is. And then I think she might have let her teammates know after the final game at the World Series at the hotel before she went on social media and let the public know. But it is, and it makes more sense too, not being awarded the golden ticket for the Athletes Unlimited, right? She probably knew what her plans were directly after college softball and what she wants to do in terms of family life, and maybe putting softball in terms of playing on the back burner. And she knows what she wants to do as in terms of family life, and all that stuff is great. Seems like they have a really great perspective.
And listen, I don't think it slowed her down any, if people want to claim that. I think, if anything, it probably provided her any even extra motivation. And I think it's pretty special. And not saying when I was talking about maybe her next chapter, I don't think by any means was she looking forward to that until it was over. I think it's just something that when softball was, complete, when this season was complete, especially as it was for her to be a part of, and she was all in on that. I think when that chapter closed, she was really excited about the next. So I'm super excited for her, and I think she's still going to be around the program quite a bit. So excited to kind of get to see maybe Jordy raising hopefully a future Husker, because I think that's going to be a pretty.
I think there's a good shot that'll happen.
Okay, so that's going to be one of the big pieces, right? That Coach Ravel and this coaching staff is going to have to target to replace. I got to think that they're going to have another pitcher to go alongside Alexis Jensen, as good as she was this year. I think we saw the benefits of having two pitchers, right, and how far that can take you, and just Jordy was fresh, and I think Alexis was fresh, and people were not prepared when they would, have to figure out who was pitching, but then also how different they were. And so I think they found something in that. So probably got to think that they're probably going to go after another pitcher to go alongside Alexis Jensen. Yeah,
no doubt about it. I think they know how they want to attack it. They know how they want to attack the transfer portal. I think they're very confident in what they have coming in. And, one of the cuts we didn't use yesterday, we can get to here with Rhonda Revelle post-game. They asked her straight out. They said, okay, you're going to have to rebuild this roster. You're losing a lot from this team that made the World Series, and that could leave people a little bit negative moving forward from what you're losing. But Rhonda was pretty confident in how she's going to build this moving forward.
It's so interesting to me because 1 year we graduated 76% of our extra base hits, and the next year we actually broke an offensive record. I'm not saying we're going to do that next year, but one thing that if you were in that room, the returners were talking about is they feel a lot of responsibility and they're encouraged by what this senior class did and where this senior class has positioned this program. And they take a lot of pride in it not doing this. And I love that. I love that they spoke out and spoke up like that. And we've got a freshman group that we are super excited about. I think they're very athletic. I think they're spicy. I think they're fun. And we've got a handful of our seniors that are going to be around to help, infiltrate, just keep loving and serving and caring for Nebraska softball. So the future is still bright.
And Jess, I think there's going to be players from this senior class that are going to be on the staff next year, right? So that the culture isn't going to go away. I think you could have elements of, okay, who's going to step up and who's going to be the leader. I think that can be helped with who's going to return, not necessarily play on the field, but who's going to be in that dugout and graduate assistant roles. And you recruit players for a reason. There's freshmen here that they're confident in that can come in and play.
Yeah. And I think a little bit like what we've talked a lot about, a lot of these women's programs with Nebraska is they're going to try to, build from high school recruiting and supplement with the portal. And you had a lot of these Nebraska kids coming home out of the portal, but they've got a lot of young talent that they are really, really excited about. They're going to just, supplement with a few pieces out of the portal, I think, with this next season's team. I'll be interested to see what happens to shortstop and center field, because I think those are two really, really big pieces. We talked to Nate a little bit about that yesterday, but those are going to be two big pieces along with that second pitcher that's going to be a much need, I think, for this group.
Yeah, and they can address that pretty quickly. The good thing about this era, Jess, is transfer portal wise, is you can address that quickly with whoever enters the portal, and there will be a lot of names that will enter that portal just like they do in all sports.
Well, Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Well, we have talked a lot about the spring semester is not done just yet. We still got a number of track and field athletes competing, and we'll be competing at nationals coming up next week, including one of the top pole vaulters in the entire country, Dyson Wicker, coming up next year on Sports Nightly.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles, or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
In the mood for a wild ride? Then enter the Nebraska Lottery's Pony Payout promotion. Until July 28th, when you enter non-winning Pony Payout scratch tickets online, you could win a 2026 Ford Mustang GT Fastback. Gallop over to a Nebraska Lottery retailer and play today. Ford Mustang is a trademark owned and licensed by Ford Motor Company. Ford Motor Company is not a sponsor of this promotion. Pony payout top prize odds 1 in 120,000.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
In the mood for a wild ride? Then enter the Nebraska Lottery's Pony Payout promotion. Until July 28th, when you enter non-winning Pony Payout scratch tickets online, you could win a 2026 Ford Mustang GT Fastback. Gallop over to a Nebraska Lottery retailer and play today. Ford Mustang is a trademark owned and licensed by Ford Motor Company. Ford Motor Company is not a sponsor of this promotion. Pony payout top prize odds 1 in 120,000.
From the chant of Husker power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. Bench the other guys and team up with the official Internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers. Go Gig Red. Visit allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
We're here for those who build America. Those who believe that giving everything we've got today will pay off tomorrow. Who will drive America forward for 250 years to come. If that's who you are, you value what we value, and you should pay what we pay.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, where it's mower season. Get 0% financing, professional setup, and local support you can't get at the big box store, only at Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer. Welcome back to Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody, and excited to see how this Nebraska track and field team competes next week at Nationals. It was a really, really impressive showing for the Nebraska men's team at the Big Ten Championships in Lincoln, and I know they got a lot of confidence going into the national championships, the women's team as well. But a big contributor to what the men's team has done really this entire season is Dyson Wicker, the sophomore pole vaulter. He has jumped onto the scene and broken all kinds of records, and he is headed to the NCAA championships coming up next week. And hey, again, just a fascinating story. I had a chance to chat with him right after he won his Big Ten title. Dyson Wicker, thank you for being here with us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Well, just a sophomore, but you have bursted onto the scene here over these last couple of seasons. But I just want to talk about the most recent title here at home, the Big Ten Championship. How did that one feel? You've been on top of a lot of podiums throughout your career, but how did this last one feel?
This last one was the best by far. I mean, there was so much pressure that I was putting on myself because it's at home and you gotta defend your home turf. And there's a lot of really talented jumpers in the Big Ten, and I knew I had to go out there and do my best, and ended up coming out on top, and it was the best one by far.
How much fun was it, and how nice was it to get to do it at home? It's been so long for this program to get to have let alone just a track meet, but, a championship at home.
Exactly. I mean, it was insane. I mean, the crowd was crazy. The clap, so in pole vault, when you're going for a big attempt, you start a clap, and it's basically the pace of your run. That is the loudest clap I have ever heard in my life by far, and it was just electric. Every time you cleared the bar, the whole stands erupted. It was insane.
It had to fuel you.
Like it. Exactly. I mean, I wasn't feeling the greatest on that day. My back was hurting, and I was like telling my coach, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go out there. But as soon as I stepped foot on that track, and even in warm-ups, everybody's cheering, celebrating. As soon as I felt like the crowd behind me, I knew that today was that day, and I just had to go.
How about for the men overall? You guys finished, runner-up. Was a great finish for you guys collectively. How important was that for you guys kind of moving forward into the postseason?
I feel like it was a really big motivating factor for us going into nationals and stuff like that. A lot of people shocked the world. They went out there and they had the races of their life and they threw really well. I mean, overall, we lit it up. I mean, we went in there, I believe we were ranked 6th and we finished 2nd, and that speaks numbers in itself, that we were ready, we were primed, and this team just needed the opportunity to showcase our talents, and that's exactly what we did.
You came in highly touted out of high school. You had a big freshman year, but, maybe people paying more attention to you now. So how have you gone about managing the pressure and maybe the all eyes on you this season?
It's been a lot. Mm-hmm. It's been a lot of influx of just people paying more attention, and I've always been kind of under the radar. I live a very private life, but my parents have really helped me a lot with that, of just making sure I'm putting my best foot forward and not letting the pressure affect me, going out there and doing what I do best and not focusing on like what other people think, because I had a big problem with that last year. Outdoor, it showed really bad. Mm-hmm. Outdoor season was rough. And this year, my parents were like, don't let what happened in the past control what the future holds. And so I've just been repeating that in my head and just trusting my faith and just trying to be myself.
So for a young athlete maybe struggling with that, what's the process of that? It's easier said than done. So what have you done to make sure that is a day-to-day thing for you?
Just more conversations with people who have been there, like Axelina, Till, some of the most decorated people that the Husker track team has ever had. I mean, I'll sit down with them and I'll be like, guys, I have people following me, texting me, asking me, how do I do what I do? And I don't know what to say, because it came naturally. And they've helped me a lot with how to manage it, how to put your best foot forward, how to find a process that works for you. Like public speaking was a really hard thing for me to do in high school.
Really?
Yes.
Because you're so good at this already.
I've been working on it a lot. So it's just making sure that you find your weaknesses and work on them little bits at a time.
Wow. And I feel like that probably comes from what you do, because you have to do everything right with a pole vault or it could be disastrous.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. First of all, how did you get into pole vaulting? Because that's crazy. Are you crazy?
A little bit. We all pole vaulters say you got to be a little crazy to pole vault. My sister was running track with a coach, and he suggested pole vault, that she should try it. And I was just around it from a really young age. I believe it was 3rd grade, the first practice I ever went to. And I was the youngest one in there, so my coach was like, just sit here, watch, learn for 2 years, and then I'll let you get on the runway and start jumping. And as soon as 5th grade came around, I got on that runway, and I fell completely in love with the sport and haven't looked back once.
Wow. Did you have any disastrous falls along the way?
Actually, yes. So state, my senior year at University of Texas, I ended up planting a pole, and it was raining outside. And I planted the pole, and the pole goes forward out of the box. And so I got shot about 17 feet in the air and straight back on the track.
Oh, my.
Yeah, very first jump of warm-up. I knew my foot was broken, but I went up to my coach. I was like, Coach, don't tell my mom, because she's going to make me stop. I was like, just tape up my foot and we're going to call it good. And he was like, are you sure? And I was like, yes, we got to. This is state. I have to go. Looking back on it, probably shouldn't have taken the 16 jumps I did on the broken foot, but Yeah, that was probably the worst of the falls for sure.
Did you end up winning state?
I did my junior year. My senior year, I didn't. I mean, I did everything I could out there. I skipped 2 bars on my first 2 attempts, so I came in at like 15.6, missed, skipped to 16, missed, skipped to 16.6, and I was like, I have 1 attempt. If I cleared, I win state. If I don't, I left it all out there. Didn't end up making it, but it definitely has helped get me to where I am today.
Wow. What a story. You have to have a short memory, right? I mean, because that can be really, really scary and affect what you do forever.
Exactly. I mean, the biggest thing that takes pole vaulters out is the mental game of it. There's such a big mental aspect that you have to tap into, but you also have to let it go. It is a very big balance. And that's why you got to be a little bit crazy. You have to be able to fall back on the runway and then realize, okay, I have 2 more attempts. I got to get up there and I got to give it everything I have. And that's the one thing that I pride myself on is like, I'll miss a bar and I have a very short memory that I've had to work on ad nauseum to get it to where I am today. But it's just, you got to have a fast memory, forget about it, go into the next attempt and have a complete new clear mindset.
That's almost as important as just the physical side
Exactly.
of it. Wow. Okay, so you obviously picked it up at 5th grade and then you never looked back. So when did the recruiting process start for you?
So for me, it started at New Balance Nationals my junior year. Going into junior year, I was going to be a welder. I was not going to go to college. I wasn't looking anywhere for college because my dad didn't graduate from college, and in my household, it was never like pushed on me. So I didn't like school, so I didn't want to go, and I went into junior nationals at New Balance, and I went out there and I jumped a double PR at 16.9 at 16 years old.
Wow!
Which in pole vault, jumping your age is like that's like the defining factor of a good jumper. And once I did that, it kind of just exploded. It was crazy from there.
Man, that's wild. So was it overwhelming then?
Very.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I was a very shy kid. I mean, I have these Power 5 schools, the coaches calling me and asking me all these questions, and I don't know what to ask because you're supposed to ask about the school. I mean, me being the kid that I was, I didn't really care about the school. I only cared about pole vault. So I'd ask them all these questions about pole vault, and they're like, well, do you want to hear anything about our school programs? I'm like, what? That's part of this? So it was definitely overwhelming. But as the process continued and alongside with my parents, they helped me definitely pick the right school.
Okay, so then you landed on Nebraska. So what ended up, once you figured out what you were looking for, because you weren't looking for anything, then when you figured out it's what you wanted to do, what were some of those things that you keyed in on that you wanted?
I wanted a coach that could take the talent that I already had and mold me into a better jumper. There's a lot of coaches out there. There's very few good coaches out there. So you have to weed through the people that might be telling lies or they might be 100% serious. As soon as I stepped on campus here, I remember the first day, because we went through all the academics and everything, I was like, this is an insane visit. Like, all we're learning about is academics. And I woke up on the second day, and then we got to the athletic side, and I got to watch a practice and talk to Coach Bartolina. And as soon as I sat down and watched him coach, what you see is exactly what you get. He keeps it as simple as I needed it, but also as intense as I needed it, because I needed somebody to call me on whatever I was doing wrong. Because in high school, I mean, I was pretty good. So a lot of the times I would just get told, oh, you're doing great, keep doing that. But really, I knew I was making mistakes that could have led me to get higher. And as soon as I came on that visit and met him, I knew that this was exactly where I had to be.
So what has Coach Bartolina done that has allowed for you to grow so much so quickly in 2 years?
I would say it's just not only focusing on the pole vault, but focusing on the pole vaulter. So he focuses a lot on my character, because coming in, I was a very immature young guy that came to college and was like, I wasn't going to be here, and now I'm here. I don't know what to do. So he was honestly like a dad figure that I needed at the time, and just having him there for me whenever I needed him, whether it was about life, school, or pole vault, really helped me to excel. Because in high school, I had a lot of coaches, but a lot of them I didn't really trust. And once I built that trust with Bartolina, I knew that his best interest was my best interest too. And as soon as we found that happy medium, I just kind of went up from there and hasn't stopped since.
That's fantastic. What's the process of getting better as a pole vaulter? Because I got to imagine you don't want to weigh very much, like too much, but then you probably also want to gain strength. It's probably, honing in on the technique. So what is the balance of all of that?
It is a huge balance, and it really changes depending on the person. For me, in the off season, I have to train as much as possible to put on as much muscle mass and everything that I can. The faster I get, the better I'm going to be throughout the season, because throughout the season, I don't need to be doing as much because my body can get overworked, and that's when pains start being brought up. So he focuses more on me putting on weight at the beginning of the year, and then we just slowly decline to where I'm at a perfect jumping weight is what we call it. And just weightlifting, speed, everything plays a big role. It's crazy how much goes into it.
Wow. So now that you've been here and you've, kind of dove into everything, has your mindset changed on the school part of it and all of that?
100%. I mean, I thought that college was going to be something completely different. I thought it was going to be overwhelming classwork. I got an easy major, I will say that. But
what is that?
Child, Youth, and Family Studies. I basically went in my freshman year and was like, what's the easiest major? I'll do that one. So, but it's been great. I love all my professors. They've all been really helpful. And as soon as I explained my situation of I wasn't going to be here, I don't know what to expect from this class. They've done nothing but help me through. So it's been great.
How about the other areas of being a student athlete, like the life skills, all of that? Have you enjoyed the other areas other than just athletics and academics?
It's insane. They do it better here than anywhere else in the entire world, and I will stand by that. I mean, I'll talk to all my other friends in the NCAA, and nobody has programs like we do. With life skills, you can go into training table and learn how to cook. It has been crazy, and it's everything that I needed to learn that I didn't know I needed to learn.
Wow. So you tell me that you golfed a little bit. Now you just do it to kind of go out there and if people start giving you some trash talk just to, remind people, hey, I can do this too.
Exactly, yeah. I wasn't planning on getting into golf, but I broke both my arms freshman year in football, and I went out there with my buddy, and I just started hitting drivers with a cast on my arm. And this coach walks up to me, and he's like, who are you? And I was like, I'm Dyson, I'm a pole vaulter. That was how I introduced myself. And he was like, well, now you're a golfer. And so since then, I've been on the golf team. And then I dropped the golf team my senior year, and then I focused more on pole vault. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I made a lot of lifelong friends on that team, so it was great.
What a great story. What else do you enjoy doing outside of pole vaulting?
All sorts of stuff. I love being outdoors. Me and my friends will just one day pick up and go hike for just in the middle of nowhere, maybe on the border of Missouri, border of Iowa. We just go out and walk around. But out here, most of the time when I'm in training, I just kind of hide away, stay inside, focus on vaulting. Yeah. Exactly.
You took your commitment photo right with a cowboy hat. Was that an ode to Texas?
Yes, it was. Yeah. I grew up 30 minutes east of Dallas in a town called Rockwall. It's a great town. Ended up coming to Nebraska, so it's a lot different. So I had to have a little bit of that hometown heritage out here.
Nebraskans, I guess you're probably used to it, but a lot of fan bases are not very fond of Texas Longhorns.
Yes, yeah. I grew up an Aggie fan. Both of my parents went to University A&M, so definitely the same way in our household.
So you're used to it then.
Exactly.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, moving forward, last year you made it to the NCAAs. You were the highest scoring freshman. You finished the highest, second all-team or second team All-American. But as you move forward now here in this season, what did you take away from last season? What did you gain from that experience to be able to help you this season?
I would say the biggest thing that I learned is how to fail. I mastered the art of learning how to fail. I mean, I used to look at every failure as my life is over and I'm going to be the worst jumper ever from this point forward. It wasn't until I sat down with Coach Sinclair and he told me, he was like, you have to learn how to fail because you can't let every mistake be a failure. Sometimes mistakes make you better. And as soon as I took away, like, okay, I got second team and I had a rough outdoor. What do I need to do different? So I started doing less meets this indoor, which led to getting first team. So it's just learning small things that I can do better to lead me to success rather than focusing on the failures and letting it drag me down.
Kyle, it was funny. I was talking to him just about, how he got into the sport. And I just, you heard me say, I'm like, are you crazy? Because like in the wind and some of the elements, there are certain, track events that you can point to, maybe the 400-meter race is the hardest mentally, or whatever. But this one's got to be, you have to be the craziest because there are so many things that go into it. And he kind of even joked about that. But impressive. Dyson, Wicker, a number of Huskers headed to the NCAAs next week.
Yeah, and of course, had a big championships here on campus for the Big Ten. And he's going to be one of those leaders that heads to Eugene, which is a really cool event and really good environment. But I couldn't imagine myself pole vaulting, to be honest with you. I don't even know what that would necessarily look like.
I was going to say, let's add that to the list, Camden.
Yeah, Camden, the first thing he did was say, we're going to add that to the list for a segment. So, again, he's got a lot of things cooking up. He's a creative guy we got over there.
Well, best of luck to Dyson and the rest of the Huskers. We're going to keep talking track and field again because it's our last sport remaining here for this calendar year, and then we'll flip it over, and I'm sure we'll talk a lot of football when we get to the dog days of summer. As we
football, what's that? I don't know what that is.
All right, let's get to a break. Got a couple more segments left here of hour number one. Keep it here on Sports Nightly.
We're here for those who build America. Those who believe that giving everything we've got today will pay off tomorrow, who will drive America forward for 250 years to come. If that's who you are, you value what we value, and you should pay what we pay.
In the mood for a wild ride? Then enter the Nebraska Lottery's Pony Payout promotion. Until July 28th, when you enter non-winning Pony Payout scratch tickets online, you could win a 2026 Ford Mustang GT Fastback. Gallop over to a Nebraska Lottery retailer and play today. Ford Mustang is a trademark owned and licensed by Ford Motor Company. Ford Motor Company is not a sponsor of this promotion. Pony Payout top prize odds 1 in 120,000.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Aksarben Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board. For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
The Akrs Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, where it's mower season. Get 0% financing, professional setup, and local support you can't get at the big box store. Only at Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer. Welcome back. Just got a couple short segments left for you here on this Tuesday night edition with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. Well, Kyle, what did you think of yesterday? You got Texas Tech and Texas. It's I don't even know. I might not even watch this championship series at the Women's Volleyball
Is Nate going to watch? He's the biggest Texas hater that exists.
I don't know. I don't know, because Texas Tech, it's been documented. Nobody likes them, but then obviously nobody likes Texas. It's like, what do you do? Who do you root for?
So obviously it's a rematch from last year, right? Texas has a chance to go back to back. Obviously, Oklahoma had a four-peat. Previous to that, Florida had gone back to back. So you're seeing champions in clusters here. If Texas can find a way to do it, I was not so shocked by the Texas Tech side of it. I thought Alabama was really good. I thought they would win that first game against Vic Moten, who's the true freshman that Alabama threw. It was a 1-0 game for most of it. They didn't have a whole lot, Alabama offensively, against Nigeri Kennedy, who just had not pitched that way for a while. Like, she looked like Stanford Nyjah. She looked like Nyjah of last year when she first got to Texas Tech. She was dominant. Like, there weren't a whole lot of complete games in here in this postseason. They got, between her and Terry, like, there were teams that got to them, especially late in some of the late home runs that they allowed. So I think that's what surprised me the most, is Nyjah was able to have the performance that she did. Of course, if Audrey Vandegrift, the left fielder, makes that catch on a ball that barely gets over the wall, is it a different game? And again, I'm not so surprised that Tech won 2 games. I think I'm more surprised that Texas found a way to beat Tennessee twice, though.
Yeah, me too. I was really, I couldn't believe that. I was obviously out in the pool and I was like, wait, what happened? So I'm definitely not excited about this, but yesterday was absolutely wild because it just very rarely happens. And then for 2 teams to have to beat teams twice, for them to both make it to the championship series, that's wild.
What do we say? If you go 2-0 in the World Series, you're essentially a shoo-in for the championship finals because it puts you in a really good spot. You have to lose twice on that Monday. And it happened in back-to-back occasions here with Texas and then Texas Tech. I'll say this. I think the crowds will be really good. I think the storylines will be really good. Texas Tech, they've embraced the villain role, which I think is okay. Like, people, because we see a lot of that in men's sports where, people get vilified a little bit more in press conferences. The storylines tend to be a little bit juicy. And sometimes on the women's side, it's more about grow the game, this, that, and the other. I think part of that does help grow the game, the storylines around Texas Tech and the fact that there's almost a villain arc with this Tech team. I think that does, in a way, help the sport and help what the viewership's going to be.
Yeah, and I think it's crazy as it is, but people tend to like some drama, and
there's
some
a lot
fireworks.
Of it. You hear the
And
Tennessee player or Texas player eats ladybugs for good luck and swallows the ladybugs?
No, I didn't.
Holly Rowe reported that. I forget which player, but she eats the ladybug. Whenever she sees a ladybug, she eats it and then swallows it for good luck.
Oh my! Has it helped? Has it worked?
I mean, they're in the championship finals, so they might serve her a plate of ladybugs.
Ugh, gross. All right, got to get to a break. We're back to wrap up hour number 1 next.
Applied Connective Technologies may be an award-winning IT company, but since day one, our passion, commitment, and top priority have always been about people. Hey, Lincoln, I'm Ed Knott, president of Applied Connective, helping Nebraska businesses and organizations to operate at their peak potential. We're proud to offer world-class support in the areas of managed IT and cybersecurity, phones, surveillance, door access control, cabling, audio, video, and more. To hear what customers say about working with us or for a free technology consultation, head to appliedconnective.com today.
For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles, or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
And now, introducing the starting lineup of your Nebraska Huskers, starring Allo Fiber. At number 1, Allo Internet. At number 2, no satellite dish required. DirecTV through Allo. And at number 3, Allo Mobile. Allo Fiber, the official internet, TV, and mobile partner of Husker Nation. Level up your game and go to allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
Welcome back. Quick final segment here of Sports Nightly in hour number 1. He's Kyle. I'm Jessica. Hey, it's pretty hot down here. How's the weather up there, Kyle? Treat me.
It's nice. It's not as muggy as yesterday. Yesterday felt like summer. About 83 degrees today. It's cloudy. It feels less muggy than yesterday. I think we're going to get some rain the rest of the week, but we're pretty much sitting in the mid to upper 80s the rest of the week and beyond.
Well, it was pretty funny that when we were, sitting in the booth, Texas had some bats that had the red, white, and blue, and I immediately thought that it looked bomb pops.
Bomb pops. I thought it was boom pops. You're right, bomb pops.
No, bomb pops. You just like Nate said it wrong too. He called them like rocket.
No,
pops or something.
No, I think there's a lot of different things that people go with, but it reminds me of like a 4th of July barbecue.
He remembered it when somebody corrected him quickly. But both Keith Zimmer and I, who is a hoot, by the way, watched a game with him, highly recommended. We both immediately said, it's bomb pops. But I wasn't going to interrupt Nate's flow, but he got corrected really quickly by a listener in the commercial break.
Gotta set him
bomb
straight.
pops. I'm craving a bomb pop right now. So
go get one.
But watch for those bats in the championship series.
Oh, I saw them last night.
It looks like a bomb pop.
Oh, yeah.
All right. We've got a whole another hour of Sports Nightly coming up next.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
It's not a job. I don't start my day by logging in or end my shift by punching out. I don't have a corner office, but I do have a seat with a view. I get to see every sunrise and every sunset, And while I may technically be my own boss, I fully accept that I am not in charge. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
We're here for those who build America. Those who believe that giving everything we've got today will pay off tomorrow. Who will drive America forward for 250 years to come. If that's who you are, you value what we value, and you should pay what we pay.
Good evening, I'm Camden Cohn, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the experienced advisors at Stonebridge Wealth Systems. Earlier today, Nebraska softball associate head coach and pitching coach Lori Sipple announced her retirement. Sipple played 4 seasons at Nebraska from 1985 to 1988 before serving on the coaching staff for 37 seasons, beginning in 1990. Sipple has indubitably had her impact on the program in her 41 total seasons with the program as a player and coach. She helped the Huskers to 1,449 wins, 18 conference titles, 26 NCAA tournament appearances, and 6 trips to the Women's College World Series. More information can be found on Huskers.com. In other Husker news, Dylan Carey is one of 5 finalists for the Brooks Wallace Award. The award honors the nation's top shortstop. Just the second time that a Husker has been named a finalist. The winner will be announced on June 13th. And finally, Game 1 of the Stanley Cup begins tonight as the Carolina Hurricanes host the Vegas Golden Knights. Puck drops at 7 tonight, so just a few minutes, and it can be watched on ABC. Our sports ticker is brought to you by Stonebridge Wealth Systems, navigating you to and through the retirement of your dreams. Local advisors, a disciplined process, the retirement compass. Visit StonebridgeIWM.com. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
The payoff pitch ripped into left field, down for a single. He's going to be waved home. The throw is in time. Oh, what a seed by Chet Buck. Big-time defensive play for the senior transfer.
2 balls, 2 strikes on DC. The pitch. Swing and a drive to deep left field. Taylor back to the track, to the wall. It is gone. Dylan Carey to the rescue.
Arkansas 3-2, bottom of the 8th, 1 out. Batter is Hannah Core in the first pitch. Core swings and drives this one to center and deep, and it is gone! It's gone! And this game is tied at 3! Infield to the right as well. Heron to the line, her 1-ball pitch. Ava swings and drives this one to center. Johnson going back! It's gone! It's gone! Huskers win! Huskers win! Huskers win! Huskers win 5-3 on the Kuzak 2-run home run!
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Kyle Crooks on the Huskers Radio Network.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks, back in our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center in Lincoln. I am Jessica Coody, and I am still in Oklahoma teaching some swim lessons down here. So thanks for being here with us tonight. We've got lots to dive into. We're going to introduce you to the newest head coach in Lincoln, Nicole Jones, who takes over the women's gymnastics coach. That's coming up here in just a few minutes. And Kyle, you and her could not be the opposot in terms of bubbly and non-bubbly, and energetic
I drink
and non-energetic,
bubblers.
and nice and not nice.
Wow. Look, that's why I didn't get into coaching. I don't think this this era of athlete would take to me very much. I'm very just, I think lethargic's the best way to describe me, unless we're in a football booth somewhere. Outside of that, I'm pretty lethargic. So I'm happy that we have a bubbly personality who's in charge of our women's gymnastics program. I can tell you they didn't think about hiring me, so.
Absolutely not. But she'll get you fired up tonight.
I'm excited.
You'll be ready to
Excited to hear that
run through
chat.
a brick wall. So I did want to go back because we didn't have time for this, and I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit more. If the fireworks continue to happen, which I expect them to, as long as Texas Tech is playing, but it just got out of control with some drama with Tennessee and Texas Tech. There's Florida and Texas Tech, and a lot going on here. I think a lot of it stems from the transfer portal and some things maybe shadily happening last year. But you have a different kind of perspective on this. What has it been like for you? It's kind of all come to a head here in the postseason, from dating back to what kind of transpired last season.
Yeah, and there's information that I'm privy to that I'm not necessarily going to say, but there's a reason that teams are upset, right? There's certain ways that NIL and all this stuff happens. Look, tampering is part of the deal too. So I don't know. It's just, I guess there's levels of tampering that can get you upset nowadays because it happens. I think that the interesting part of it is so Holly Rowe came out with the report. They almost had like the slowed down Zapruder film version of the handshake line, right? Taylor Pennell is the athlete who was at Tennessee. She was a starting third baseman, tremendous player, elite player. She's now Texas Tech's third baseman. So that was a odd divorce. It was not a clean divorce. Apparently, Taylor said that Karen Weekly, who's the head coach of Tennessee, had said in the handshake line that you had made a mistake. And then Karen Weekly's version of it was said, nope, I said, good game. That was it. Nothing else was said. Then they went to the slowed down version of it, and it's clear Karen Weekly, Tennessee's head coach, her version of it seemed to be the correct version. So there's all this drama created out of it, and I think Taylor Pennell kind of became more of a villain. I think Texas Tech became even a little bit more vilified. But Jess, as I said in the first hour, I'm kind of okay with it, right? Like the Warriors, when they were on their great run of winning championships, and being a Thunder fan, when KD leaves Oklahoma City and goes to Golden State, right, they became the villains. I think we embrace that a little bit more on the men's side of sports. And I get professional sports is a little bit different, but I think the more that softball gets covered, the way that college football and college men's basketball gets covered, and even some respects with women's basketball, the way that Caitlin Clark was covered, the way that Paige Beckers is covered, I think the more that we treat softball that way and we treat women's volleyball that way, I think that's good for the sport. I think that grows the game because there's money in the attention. The more time that you're on SportsCenter, the more time that you get talked on these talking head shows on ESPN, on First Take. I think the more it comes up on talk radio in markets that don't have college softball or necessarily isn't in the consciousness of certain markets, I think that's a good thing, Jess. I think that we'll see that reflected in the viewership of what we'll have with Texas Tech now in the championship finals, whether you're rooting for them, which I think is a small pocket of people that live in Lubbock and friends and family. And then I think you'll get a lot of hate watching. You'll get people that are rooting against Tech, but it will be reflected in the numbers. Advertisers in the end are going to look and see the viewership numbers and say, great, like I want to buy in and double down into this event moving forward and into this sport moving forward. So the drama, I think, is a good thing for softball, whether people like it or not.
I think what's been a little bit interesting is the way that the media has covered it now. You don't always see ESPN doing some of the things that they've done, and going back to the Florida Texas Tech series, and that Holly Rowe did a report kind of reading one of the mom's posts, and the panel's dad got involved last week. It's just I think that's where it kind of gets a little bit wild that it's part of the story, but we haven't always. It's part of the story, but we haven't always seen it reported in the broadcasts like this either.
Yeah, I mean, see how, and I know college football on its scale is different, but look at how we treated the Lane Kiffin story, right? They had cameras following him on the runway when he got on the plane to go to Baton Rouge. Like, to see how the drama of a situation like that in college football and coaching changes and how we treat the offseason in college football and the transfer portal, and then how we cover men's basketball, and even I think Caitlin Clark's case and how that was treated on Twitter. I think that changed how women's basketball, at least from the WNBA, was, and definitely at the college level, was covered. The drama between Dawn Staley and Gino Auriemma. The more that we live in this social media age, Jess, is the more that we're going to dive into some of these ancillary stories that don't necessarily have a whole lot to do with wins and losses and strategy and X's and O's. And I think it's good for the sport. We want to use the phrase grow the game. This is doing that. This will do that. And there's a reason that Texas Tech is on the edge of everybody's tongue, because they are interesting. Hate them, love them, like them. They are interesting, and you will watch.
Well, listen, we saw it in the TV numbers, the viewership numbers starting on Thursday, including Nebraska. 1.4 million viewers is the most watched opening Thursday ever, but Nebraska and Arkansas's game is now the most watched Women's College World Series opening Thursday game in history. And, I think, again, the viewership continues to grow. It's unbelievable. I think it's been every year for how many years that viewership number has grown for softball. And now it is more watched than college baseball for the last, 3 years. But those numbers continue to grow. And I posted this on my social media, but yet again, another viewership number that Nebraska women's sports has broken. We saw the women's basketball team do it in March Madness. We've seen the volleyball team do it in how many times? And now Nebraska softball's got multiple records. It's just it's so incredible that when you keep seeing these numbers being broken, attendance, viewership, a lot of times it has Nebraska attached to those.
Yeah, I think star power matters too. I think that 1.4 million, a lot of that has to do with Jordy and the national attention that she has. She is a generational player. She's the best player in the sport. She's a national player of the year, the consensus national player of the year. I think you're getting people from all different fan bases that want to see that maybe haven't watched Nebraska all year long, but have the opportunity to watch a generational two-way player. I think when you talk about star power, Nebraska volleyball, it shows when you come to Nebraska, your brand is as strong here as it could be anywhere in the country. You want to say this SEC school, that SEC school. You come to Nebraska, nothing about your brand is going to diminish. You could come here and what people think is the middle of nowhere here in the Midwest in Nebraska, you are going to be a star because the brand is massive, the following is massive, and your star won't diminish by putting on that Husker logo. It will only grow.
And another point or another part to your point about growing the game and whatnot, 82%, this is another statistic point out by, that was, I guess, documented by Open Doors. They put out a graphic of this. 82% of the college softball audience is under the age of 34, which means, again, that you love to see, and if you're in media, you love to see that the numbers are young, because that means they'll hopefully stick with you for several years.
Yeah, and I think there still is a very much an older contingent too that watches softball. I think you have a very wide demographic of those that follow softball, and it's very TV friendly. I think this gets brought up a lot, and why ESPN has doubled down on their investment in the sport, because for the most part, it's a 2-hour, 15-minute window, 2.5 hours, as opposed to, baseball. I love it, but it can be long, right? It could be 3.5, sometimes 4 hours for a 9-inning game. And part of that too is, the pitching change. There's not as many pitching changes. There's not as many stoppages, and baseball's done as much as they can with the pitch clock and things to thwart that. But college softball, it is a ready-made game for primetime and television, and we see it in the productions with ESPN, and it's only growing with how they're presenting the sport. And it's clear ESPN's efforts and what they put into this sport, it's coming back to them in spades with viewership numbers and sponsorship dollars.
Well, there's another woman that totally believes in what we're talking about the support of Nebraska women's athletics, what it can do for your brand, and how you can sell this place to recruits, is Nicole Jones, the newest head coach for Nebraska Athletics, as she takes over the Husker women's gymnastics program. I'm telling you, y'all are going to love her. She's incredible to talk to. I had a chance to chat with her. She has been busy. Talk about hitting the ground running. I got a chance to catch up with her, so wanted to introduce her to you tonight here on Sports Nightly. So keep it here. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
We're here for those who build America. Those who believe that giving everything we've got today will pay off tomorrow, who will drive America forward for 250 years to come. If that's who you are, you value what we value, and you should pay what we pay.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, You won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
In the mood for a wild ride? Then enter the Nebraska Lottery's Pony Payout promotion. Until July 28th, when you enter non-winning Pony Payout scratch tickets online, you could win a 2026 Ford Mustang GT Fastback. Gallop over to a Nebraska Lottery retailer and play today. Ford Mustang is a trademark owned and licensed by Ford Motor Company. Ford Motor Company is not a sponsor of this promotion. Pony Payout top prize odds 1 in 120,000.
From the chant of Husker Power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. With Allo plus DirecTV plus Allo Mobile, you get the ultimate teamwork. Internet you can count on, TV you can stream anytime, anywhere, and nationwide coverage you can depend on. Bench the other guys and team up with the official Internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
We're here for those who build America. Those who believe that giving everything we've got today will pay off tomorrow. Who will drive America forward for 250 years to come. If that's who you are, you value what we value, and you should pay what we pay.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, where it's mower season. Get 0% financing, professional setup, and local support you can't get at the big box store. Only at Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer. Welcome back to Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. All right, wanted to introduce to you tonight Nicole Jones, the head coach for Nebraska women's gymnastics, took over about a couple months ago now, but she comes from Michigan State, where she was an assistant coach. In fact, numerous times been voted one of the best assistant coaches in the country for women's gymnastics. But you want to talk about a staff that she's bringing with her, and she's already got lots of really great talent that has signed up to be Huskers, and she's got a lot of momentum right now. So wanted to introduce you, let you hear a little bit of her backstory and her plans for Nebraska women's gymnastics. Here's my conversation with Nicole Jones. So excited to get to introduce to you the newest head coach here at Nebraska, Nicole Jones, who takes over the Nebraska women's gymnastics program. Welcome.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, it's been an amazing journey so far.
I'm so excited to get to talk to you. It's been a whirlwind for you. We've talked about getting you in here in studio, but boy, you have been all over the place. You've been so busy. You have hit the ground running.
Yeah, I think that was, when you go on the interview, they're always like, what do the first 30 to 90 days look like? And I'm like, listen, there's a lot to do, but I'm ready for it. The biggest thing was, getting a staff. I know that I think is a major piece for recruits, and even retaining, the girls that are on your team, like who are the people that are going to continue to help lead this program into the future, and do I trust them? Do I like them? You know, and so as we kind of started this journey, I knew like first thing to do, I had to, you know, get that ball rolling. But then, as you know, the transfer portal and, you know, trying to figure out what does our team look like moving into the future. I mean, it's crazy. And then I do have a family, right? Like they are still in Michigan, and I have 3 kids, my husband. And so it's also like finding that piece, looking for a house and selling our house. And so, yeah, it's been a little crazy, but honestly, I just keep telling myself one foot in front of the other, one day at a time. And every day, you know, checking more boxes, you know, and we're excited. We can't wait to get to Lincoln full time and officially call this place home.
Well, I kind of want to start, I guess. You've been a longtime assistant coach, one of the best in the country for, 16 years at Michigan State. What made you interested in this job and made you ready to take that leap to take over a program of your own?
Yeah, absolutely. I love Michigan State. Obviously, my alma mater, really hard, a place to walk away from because it's, you know, I always say I'll always bleed green a little bit, right? But I think it was always in my mind that I wanted to be a head coach. It just always had to be the right opportunity. And, you know, through this journey in coaching, other opportunities have come up, and for whatever reason, it just didn't feel right. And when Nebraska had reached out, I obviously being in the conference for so long, I knew about the rich history here. I knew about the legacy of this program. Honestly, being one of the best in the conference when they came into the Big Ten, you know, I remember them coming in and being dominant right away. It was a bummer, right, being on the other side, but I was like, man, yeah, I'm here for that. And then again, being one of the teams that competes at the Super Six, then, and, you know, again, just being one of the best teams in the country. And so I knew what this program was capable of. And then obviously coming on campus, learning more, seeing the resources, seeing the facilities, just how much this community pours into athletics too. Again, I left this place just being like, man, I wish I didn't love it. You know, it was amazing. There was just so many things from, like I said, every single box that I was like, what, without a school color, without a conference, what does the right head coaching position look like for me? And all signs pointed here. So
I feel like a lot of people say that when I have people sit in that chair, that it's just hard to say no to. It was interesting. We were talking before we started recording that you said the facilities here are some of the best in the country.
Yeah, incredible. Honestly, obviously being around different, you know, conferences, traveling all over, you know, you have friends that coach in other places, and they, you know, kind of jump on board, and we're like, yeah, that you're not going to find, you know, better anywhere else. And so obviously coming here and touring around and doing my own research, we have everything we need. Not even just in our gymnastics space, you know what I mean? But even we had recruits on campus this weekend and touring them around, and they're just in awe of our own practice facility, but just everything from the weight room, our training table for our student athletes, you know, even just the other facilities for other sports, right? As we continue to tour around and meet people, it's incredible just how much athletics is poured into here. And yeah, it just makes us even more excited to get started.
So you said one of the first things you had to get done was put together your staff, and you have put together an incredible staff. So tell us about them and what makes you so excited about what they can get done here with you here in Lincoln.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, something that I've learned along this process too is you're only as good as the people that you bring in to continue to support you and your vision. And so I wanted to bring in people that were like-minded, but also weren't afraid to bring new ideas to the table. I think that's something that I really respect. I don't think I know it all. I obviously have a way that I want to do some things, but I want to bring people in that can continue to be outside the box thinkers and continue to help, you know, bring ideas to make our program grow as, you know, we navigate different personalities and ways to go about things with our sport. So I kind of talk about each of them a little bit. Devin Wright, she's my associate head coach. She actually is leaving East Lansing to come with me here. She will be our vault and floor coach. I think she's one of the best in the country, honestly. I think, again, just not just her too, but the staff in general. I really wanted to bring people in that could continue to help us develop gymnastics. I think that's such a huge piece. Obviously, we're looking, you know, at really great athletes, but we want them to come here and leave this program better, you know, in all areas, but specifically gymnastics, right? We want them to be better than how we found them. And whether that's they're learning new skills or they are, you know, maybe just a little more consistent, I think that's something that was really important, that we're not just managing lineups, but we're bringing athletes in, and we can make sure that whether they need to learn something new or maybe they're struggling with something, we can take a step back, and we're very confident in that to be able to, continue to move forward. So I feel like all of them do that really well, and that was one of the main reasons of, bringing them in. But Devin is amazing, a great technician. Again, really can break things down so that athletes can understand. I love her attention to detail, and just she's really obsessed with gymnastics. And I love that, because I think in this sport, and to do it really well, you have to be a little obsessed with it. And she really is. She always has an idea of, what's going on in the recruiting side of things, what's happening, what's happening with maybe new things in the DP program. And so really excited to be bringing her on board. Her energy is contagious. And I think one of the things too with this staff is, we're going to love our kids really hard. We want them to be super supported. We want them to know that we're, they're family to us. We're gonna love them. We're gonna make sure they're supported, but we're also gonna hold them to a really high standard, because at the end of the day, they all want to come here and make sure that they're super successful, whether it's academically, athletically, in their personal life. And I feel like there's a really good balance with all of us that are on staff. So excited about her, obviously about all of them. But Brett, I think he's one of the most well-known coaches in the club world. People have been trying to get him to jump into the college scene for about a decade now, probably. And for whatever reason, those universities just didn't feel right. But I think him and I have known each other for a really long time. We have a really great working relationship and have a lot of respect for one another. And so when I got the head coaching role, he had reached out and kind of congratulated me, and I kind of jokingly, because again, I knew that so many people had tried for so long to get him to coach in college. I was like, thanks so much. Maybe now we can finally work together, kind of ha. And he was like, maybe ... give me a call whenever you have a minute. And I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, we'll see. And honestly, people even now don't know how, we got him to come to Lincoln, but I think, timing just has to be right on both sides. And timing was finally right on his side to make that jump. And he's amazing, not even just as a technician, but he also just, his energy is, he's so funny. He can work, but he can obviously bring that lightheartedness to the gym. I really feel like there has to be both, and especially like college gymnastics, the time goes by so fast. There's no kind of pro for us, really, right? These girls come to college and this is their pro. And so we want them to enjoy the experience, And so really excited about him. He also makes gymnastics equipment. So he has 3 or 4 different things that he has like patented on, like for bars. And again, we just feel really lucky that he's going to come be a part of our program. And then
a familiar name around here.
Yeah, I always say she's kind of a legend, right? Jordan Bowers. She had actually reached out before I even got the job, just interested in, coming back to Lincoln. She's obviously wanted to coach, and for me, that was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Why not bring the hometown kid back? She's one of the most decorated collegiate athletes in the history of, the University of Oklahoma, but honestly, in NCAA. She knows how to compete at a high level. She knows, what it takes, mentally to get there. And, in having conversations with her about the job, again, I loved just everything that I felt like she brought to the table. Her energy, she just has her hand in a few different things. She did some strength and conditioning stuff with like an internship at OU, and so really helped with different sports there. I love that she could bring that side of it with injury prevention to our team. And again, just being in a program, obviously, who has sustained excellence at the highest level, winning, 8 national championships. I think she just brings a lot of experience that will help our athletes continue to grow and be a good balance, right? Just that connector for us. So, yeah, thrilled with everybody. I think we all balance each other well. But I think the other thing, too, is that our athletes will get better and they'll be loved really hard when they're here. So, I can't be more excited about the people that are coming with me.
I love that. Okay, so when you said you always wanted to be a head coach. So when you started envisioning, taking over a program, what are kind of the foundation, the things that you want to build the program off of and up?
Yeah, absolutely. I think some of the main things are, I kind of live by the way you do anything is how you do everything. So I want our athletes to, just be really disciplined in everything they do in the gym, out of the gym, in their personal life. I just think it's just how I want to operate. I also want, communication is huge. I think if there's one thing that I have learned throughout this process is that, sometimes it's really easy to pick up the phone and text somebody, but it might not always come off the right way or how you're intending. So I always try to be very transparent with everything. I want them to be able to communicate. I think for me, I've always been that person that our student athletes can come to, that they feel really comfortable, good, bad, ugly, like that they know that I always am going to have their back. And again, that's something that I don't want that to change now that my title has changed. But I also know that if that's what I want, then I have to make sure that I'm living those things too, right? I can't say that I want you guys to come to me, but then when they do, be very up and down. So I try to be very, I feel like stable. I kind of like what you see is what you get. Try not to be too high, not to be too low. But again, communication, trust. I feel like, a team that's so connected because, and not just our girls, but our staff also, like we all are on the same team. We all want the same things. And so I know a connected team is a really successful team. So I really feel like if some of those even sound so little, but if we can do those things, I know that we will be able to continue to climb the ranks and do the things that we say we want to do fairly quickly. So again, it just makes me ready to get going. Not want to wish away the summer, but just ready to get everybody here to finally just start learning and growing with them. I think that's one thing that is really special is that we get to walk into this situation and it's new for everybody. Yeah, it's a little hard for us. We have to get to know 20 new people, but how fun, and the girls too. They've been so receptive and so excited. And I think, sometimes when you walk into a situation like this, you don't know the vibes, like what is the energy going to be like? And obviously they had a lot of respect for the staff that was here, but they are very open-minded and ready for change and excited for, us to come in and see what we can do this upcoming season.
Well, there's no denying your passion for the sport and, your role as a head coach, but I'm always interested to find out why you wanted to coach in the first place. You obviously competed in this sport, but what led you to want to coach the sport?
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, when I was doing gymnastics myself, I didn't even really think about coaching. It was after when I still had some school to finish. I ended up working in a club gym. I volunteer coached with Michigan State then just to kind of see like, is this something I'm interested in? Obviously, when my career was over, I'm like, I felt great. I loved gymnastics. I didn't want to be done. So I was like, okay, maybe I could still be involved with gymnastics, even if I don't, not performing myself. And so being in the gym and being on the other side really just lit a fire that I didn't know was there, honestly. I actually found more joy being on this side than even doing the sport myself. I think there's something about, taking an athlete from one situation and seeing them succeed at a really high level. And something so small as even just like maybe they were struggling sticking a dismount and you help them break things down. And then in the biggest moments, you just see the pure joy on their face because they finally did what we've been working so hard together to do. I think those are little moments that, there's obviously big moments with championships and being at nationals, things like that kind of stick out as easy things to be proud of in your career. But those little moments when you've helped an athlete really achieve something that maybe they didn't think they could do or they were struggling to do, that has been something that I think really just is a core memory for me that continues to be like, I will never forget that I see a picture and I remember exactly that moment and how we felt. And it's something as little as, hitting a routine that maybe they struggled with or sticking a, like I said, a dismount that we work so hard to do. So yeah, just the joy, because you see the grind, you see what happens behind closed doors. And I think that's what keeps me coming back, being like, man, this sport is crazy, but how fun that I get to be such a huge part of these women's lives in such a transformational period. I think that's something that I guess I feel a lot of, joy, but I'm like, how lucky am I that I get to be such a part of their life when they're transitioning from, being a young woman, but into an adult, right? Yeah. And really helping them find who they want to be. I think that's something that I've really learned, that this sport is more than just gymnastics. And I really get to help empower them to kind of take that next step and tell them why not you, why not us, and, make sure that they know that they can do anything that they want to do, whether that's in gymnastics or if they, want to be a CEO of whatever company they want to do, And so I think that has been the coolest part, is that it's bigger than gymnastics. And those are the moments I think that I even remember even more. So
has it changed a lot from you when you were competing to what it is now, in terms of, like, it just seems like so much pressure because it's a sport of perfection, right? And you have to balance that of, mentally chasing that, and you talk about, sticking the dismounts, but then also you do have to find that joy.
Yeah. Oh, it's so hard. I feel like our sport is crazy. Like, we're chasing perfection that you rarely get.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're trying to get this perfect 10, but every meet you go to, the judges are basically telling you why you're not good enough to get it, right? It's just like, this is crazy. But again, I think when you grow up in this sport, it's just something that continues to ignite your fire, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, all of these athletes, they get done with a routine and they're just like, okay, what else could I have done better, right? They're just such perfectionists, and almost to a fault, right? Where you have to kind of be like, take a breath, give yourself grace. It's okay. But yeah, man, what a crazy sport. It definitely, finding that balance, I think, they're so talented that you just have to really work on things from the neck up a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably a lot of sports, but this one, I just feel like, how crazy that we go in to try to, the goal is, we all want to score a 10. We all want to be perfect, but we go into this meet and we just find out how far away we are from it. Like, okay, that really just helps my confidence. No, but, there are so many things that we can do to help that. And again, we're so used to this crazy sport.
Listen, Kyle, I can't even do a cartwheel, but I'm ready to run through a brick wall. I mean, you could tell she's fired up to be a Husker. She is from Michigan State, and we talk a lot about the football coaches and even, guys like Nate Linzer, that they are going to have a lot of interest in being poached, right? And having a head coaching opportunity. Same thing for Nicole Jones. She's had a lot of opportunities. She's waiting for the right one. Nebraska was the right one. And you heard her talking about how, when she came here, she wasn't really sure. She wanted to come fill it out. But by the time she left here, she wanted it bad. And I think she's going to be a great fit for Husker Athletics.
Yeah, she spent, 16 or so seasons at Michigan State, left as an associate head coach, part of some of the best staffs in the country, a consistent winner. And, when you try to check things off, if you're Troy Dannon and somebody that you want to bring to this place, somebody who's hungry to get out and recruit, that has the right temperament, the right personality, the right leader, the right teacher. And from that conversation and just sort of the interactions with everybody around this athletic department, I have not had a chance to meet her yet, but it seems like she's going to be a tremendous fit, and can't wait to see her in action with this team.
She's super excited to get involved in the community, so I'm sure most folks will be able to meet her really soon. But I'm excited. I think she's going to bring big things to this Husker women's gymnastics program. All right, got to get to a break. More Sports Nightly coming up right after this.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Exarban Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles, or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
It's not a job. I don't start my day by logging in or end my shift by punching out. I don't have a corner office, but I do have a seat with a view. I get to see every sunrise and every sunset. And while I may technically be my own boss, I fully accept that I am not in charge. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board. For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. He's Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. Got a couple more segments left here tonight. And Kyle, have to get to baseball. Wow, what a weekend for regional action. And how about this super regional lineup we have here coming up this weekend?
It doesn't make any sense. Nothing about it makes sense. I mean, it was intriguing. And Jess, I was talking to somebody recently. I don't think anything like what we saw could happen in softball because you have so much more control of your pitching than you do in baseball. If somebody pitches and comes out, then you're burnt. I mean, there's the re-entry rule and the way that Texas Tech has used it. I mean, they just have gone back and forth with their aces at times with each batter. But to see teams like Little Rock and Southern Miss didn't even get to their regional final. UCLA, who pillar to post, Jess, was the best team in college baseball, the number one team, the number one overall national seed. They did not even get to the regional final. Cal Poly, who won the LA Regional, didn't even have to play UCLA to get through. Remarkable stuff. Auburn was on the ropes against Milwaukee, they got blown out against Milwaukee in the first game. To see last night the dramatics between West Virginia and Kentucky, everyone wanted Kentucky on the outside looking in of the NCAA tournament. Everyone hates from a national perspective, the SEC bias, and they felt like Kentucky got in because of the SEC bias, and boom, they were able to get in, and they were very close to winning that Morgantown Regional. A team like Georgia Tech, talent-wise, who was probably the best team in the country, and absolute shocker yesterday, getting walked off against your old school in Oklahoma. And that was, to me, that was probably one of the bigger shocks that we saw, considering the talent on Georgia Tech. Florida State losing to St. John's. I was expecting Rick Pitino in a suit in the other dugout with St. John's. The fact that they get through, the number of 4 seeds that we've seen within regionals get through. Florida got blasted in back-to-back games against Troy. Like, they were not even close. It was a 10-2 game that there was zero drama. And we talked about this with Ben yesterday. It kind of, in a way, makes sense because there's so many good players around the country. Not everybody can be in the SEC. There's limits to the number that you can have within rosters. And you're seeing at the mid-major level and low D1 level, there's a lot of good baseball players around the country that are making waves. And USC as well, representing the Big Ten along with Oregon. USC goes on the road and beats Texas A&M. Just a lot of, it was incredible to watch this past weekend.
Okay, so now that you know the field of 16 heading into the weekend, of the teams that weren't supposed to be there, which one do you feel like has the best shot to maybe make it to Omaha?
Well, the funny thing is Troy and Little Rock are playing each other. So Troy is, I think Troy will get through to that super regional. I think SC has a chance against North Carolina to find a way to get through that super regional. West Virginia and Cal Poly will be an interesting matchup. I think West Virginia with home field, I think we'll get through. Auburn, Ole Miss. I would say Ole Miss, seeing them up close and personal with their pitching, they have 3 or 4 guys that are elite. I think they can go on the road and beat a very good Auburn team. So I would say that the one shocker to me would be Troy. I think the one team that you could see make even that next jump could be a Cal Poly to get through that West Virginia super regional. You could see some real odd logos in Omaha.
Crazy. And not one team that made the series last year, the World Series, are still in it, right?
Yeah, it's truly remarkable.
Some of those big names that you sometimes see there repeatedly are not going to make it this year.
Yeah, it's crazy to watch. I mean, watching the squeeze play on ESPN Plus, where it's a red zone version of all these games. I mean, everything was just, if you looked at the scores all weekend, none of it made sense.
They needed multiple, not just 4 box. They needed like
an
multiple
octabox.
boxes. Yeah.
I hear you.
All right, got to get to a break. We're back to wrap up the show next.
For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
Husker fans, if you're looking for a fulfilling career that's financially rewarding and provides flexibility, your local insurance agency is hiring. No matter your skills or interests, there are opportunities for you in the insurance industry. Explore the many ways you can use your skills to protect your community by checking out the IIAN job board. Find your calling and be a part of an industry that makes a difference. Go to iian.org/careers today.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles, or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
From the chant of Husker power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. Bench the other guys and team up with the official Internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers. Go Gig Red. Visit allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
Well, wanted to close the show as we welcome you back to Sports Nightly with, I guess, some bittersweet news as Nebraska softball announced the retirement of Lori Sipple today. And man, somebody that's just been instrumental to Husker athletics, but also to the sport of softball. And people have talked a lot about Jordy Fromm this week and the impact that she's had. Lori Sipple certainly has done that throughout her career and coming from Canada and as a coach on the staff, as a pitching coach, but then as a player. I did back on the 50-year anniversary of Title IX, I was able to sit down with her and Coach Ravel, and you want to talk about just eye-opening, some of the things that they were having to do back in the 80s. And these are teams that were competing for national championships. And, some of the things that they were having to do to be able to compete to what it is now, and just the winning percentage, what she's been a part of here at Nebraska Athletics. Man, we could go on and on and on. I'm sure it was, again, bittersweet for that conversation to be had between Coach Ravel and Coach Sipple. But, someone that has just had a massive impact on where this program is today.
Yeah, and you think of the continuity that you don't get nowadays in athletics between her and Rhonda on staff. And first Husker to have her jersey retired, number 16. Back in 1995, of course, Nebraska Softball Hall of Fame inductee, Nebraska Athletics Hall of Famer, part of the first class in 2015. Just a lot of great accolades, and you think of the great players that have come through here, and the impact, like you mentioned, more recent that she had on a player like Jordy Fromm, and the imprint of what she did for Alexis Jensen in her first year as a true freshman. Those are coaches that have created relationships, not just over a few years, over decades, that you can't. It's going to be incredibly hard to replace. I would had to have thought that Rhonda probably thought if this was the case, that she has a list of people that she would want to come in here and perhaps take over that role. But it is not going to be easy to have somebody just fit in there and do what she did when you're here for 30 plus years.
Yeah, it was funny, just again, some of the statistics that Jordy broke or, was chasing. Same thing with Alexis Jensen, that the pitching records, Lori Sipple's name's all over the record book too. And so, some of those records that were broken along the way were hers. And so it's just, again, as a player, she has been a Husker. And so as someone that has implemented herself into this program. So when we talk about replacing some of the positions, I am fascinated to see what direction Coach Ravel goes with this. Olivia Farrell was a pitcher as well, but you've got an open position on your coaching staff, and that it'll be really interesting to see which direction Coach Ravel goes with this one as well.
Yeah, it's an important position. We all know that, right? You need to develop your pitching. It's one thing to get them in the portal or recruit them at the high school level, but you need to be able to get them on campus and make them better from when you got them. And that's, of course, what Coach Sipple had done for many, many years, starting as an assistant coach here in 1990 and elevated to an associate head coach in 2003. And to think, the final year, it's one way to go out, right, Jess, as a World Series team.
Absolutely. So we wish Coach Sipple the best in retirement. I'm sure, once again, she'll be around a lot here around this program despite retiring. Okay, so as we started the show with congratulations, let's finish it with congratulations. Price, Sam, and Kale. Price Sanford, Sam Hoiberg, and Kale Jacobson, including Bergen Riley, all engaged here over the weekend. So it's been a busy weekend, and you're probably going to be able to talk to Coach Hoiberg about it coming up soon.
Yeah, we'll talk marriages and things, but I think we're
wedding planning. We'll have, I believe we're going to have.
Fred
Ask him about the
tomorrow.
wine that he's going to have at Sam's wedding.
The wine? Is he a big wine guy?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've learned something new. We're going to have Fred on the show tomorrow. Fingers crossed his schedule doesn't change. So we'll talk about the transfer portal class coming in. We'll talk wedding rings and all great stuff. But we'll talk about the roster and get you set for a new year. They'll have summer workouts soon.
All right, looking forward to it. That's going to do it for us. We'll talk to you tomorrow here on Sports Nightly.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
We're here for those who build America. Those who believe that giving everything we've got today will pay off tomorrow. Who will drive America forward for 250 years to come. If that's who you are, you value what we value,